1001 Spikes, I Wanna Be the Guy, Wings of V. What do these games have in common? Well, they're rage games, incredibly difficult platformers with often cheap traps and enemies, causing frustrating deaths over and over and over again. And yet, for some reason, people love them and keep coming back for more suffering. Why is that? As the band Stained would say, it's been a while, but welcome to another episode of Good Game Design. Today we're going to look at the motivational punishment principle. One of the earliest and certainly most popular indie games to utilize this principle is Super Meat Boy. Now, to be fair, Super Meat Boy is different from most other rage games out there. Instead of having surprise deaths and impossible to avoid apples flying at you, this game's rage comes from precise level design and enemy placement. Anytime you die, it's your fault. And this is mainly due to what I heard most about this game before playing it: tight controls. It feels great moving Meat Boy around, and there's nothing you can blame your frustration on but yourself. So the whole point is to get better as a player and work your way through increasingly difficult levels that take time and patience to complete. Now, if you don't play video games, or even if you're a casual gamer, you might be asking, why would you play a game that just causes you to die over and over again? Wouldn't that be annoying? But this is alleviated by one simple design change: fast respawns. You see, unlike other games where a death causes you to go back to the map screen, or restart a dungeon, or even go back to your last save point, a death in Super Meat Boy will normally only cost you around 10 seconds. It never exits the level you're on unless you decide to leave, and you're put right back in the action immediately. Each stage is short too, so you never lose a ton of progress when you die. This causes a death to be a moment of teaching instead of frustration. If you run into a saw blade, you know to jump a little higher next time. Or if that demon mouth thing bites your head off, you know to avoid it from now on. On the surface, it might look like punishment, but in reality, it's motivating you to try harder. Get it? That's why the principle is called... Never mind. Plus, there's something really satisfying about beating a level and getting to see all your failed Meat Boys run around at the same time until the last one emerges victorious. It reinforces your achievements and shows your progress as a player. Even more important than great controls and quick respawns, though, is that Super Meat Boy utilizes the concept of easy to learn, hard to master. Another game series that just so happens to share initials with this one incorporates this principle flawlessly. In any Mario game, you start out with simple levels just to get used to the controls and how everything's going to be laid out, but by the end of the game, holy crap, these stages are crazy hard. Don't even get me started on this level. It's impossible! I give up! You have to become adept at the game in order to truly complete it, and Super Meat Boy is no different. These first few levels are teaching you about the mechanics and how to control this little cube of meat, and it'll slowly add new things to keep you on your toes, like disappearing blocks or laser beams. Then you reach the end, and seriously, good luck. I can't think of a better use of the word master than to show you these levels. It throws everything it's got at you, but if you've seen Sunder's level head on Super Meat Boy, you know that it's already taught you everything you need to know to beat these stages. Perhaps the perfect example of this game being easy to learn and tough to master is in the video Kids React to Super Meat Boy on YouTube. Normally I wouldn't encourage you to watch any Fine Bros production, but this video proves exactly what I'm talking about here. It shows a bunch of children learning this game, and it really highlights how the level design is made to teach you. They figure out how to beat these stages intuitively, from discovering there's a run button to having no choice but to climb these walls. The first few levels make it impossible to progress until you're able to do the main mechanics of the game. You're going to need these skills later, so it's making sure you're equipped enough to move on. Team Meat talks about how all this was intentional in Indie Game the Movie, which is a film I can also recommend if you enjoy watching Phil Fish complain for an hour. But again, deaths become a teaching moment here. Oh, that didn't work, let me try again. And it's not frustrating because it swiftly puts you right back up on that horse to try again. Now, it's pretty funny because some of the kids quit out of frustration, but some are determined to beat this game. They keep going and the focus on their face is priceless. Look at that, she's hooked. It's genius. One last thing I found interesting, and it really reinforces the motivation you gain through your experiences. The only elements that change in this game are the environments. Meat Boy himself never changes. Unlike other games where you gain power-ups to help you progress or level up to make the game easier, all that changes is your actual ability. It's not that this guy gets stronger, you become better. You learn how Meat Boy controls so much that he becomes a part of you. You know what to expect from him, and you use that knowledge to overcome anything that stands in your way. And that gained ability is real and tangible. Don't believe me? Try this out. Once you've gotten pretty far in the game, go back to the first few levels that gave you trouble and play through them again. They'll feel like child's play. Your reflexes may have gotten better slowly over time so you hadn't noticed, but there's no doubt about your increase in skill. And what caused this to happen? Well, a simple death, actually. Every time you die in Super Meat Boy, it urges you to keep trying, to best that foe that got you last time, and to not give up. You're motivated by your punishment, and not in some sort of weird S&M kind of way, but a real motivation to beat the challenge you're faced with. And then you find out there's a dark world. Aw, come on! As I mentioned before, there's a lot of rage games out there, but what are some that you think have good design? Can you think of ones that encourage you to become better through your failures? If you can, tell me about it in the comments below, I'd love to hear it. Thanks for watching another episode of Good Game Design. I'll see you next time. Hey, I'm Snoman. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. It would help me out a great ton. And maybe even subscribe, because there's a lot more stuff like this coming in the future. Be sure to follow me on Twitter for updates on coming projects, as well as on Twitch for the occasional live stream. Lastly, check out some other videos before you go. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys later.